Hey everyone, welcome to Min-Max. My name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be teaching you my 11 tips for early game success in Diablo 4. Our first tip is probably our most helpful tip. We're going to want to turn on our advanced tooltips. To do this, we're going to hit escape. We are going to go to options, gameplay. We're going to scroll down a little bit, and we see here we have advanced tooltip compare and advanced tooltip information. What this is going to do is give us a lot more information when we're looking at our gear. So if we scroll over, now we see we have all these numbers that are going to give us a lot more information. And if we hit shift, it'll let us compare our currently equipped gear so that we can make better gear choices. Just as a quick bonus tip, another thing we might want to do is get used to some of our keyboard shortcuts. For example, we can either use Tab or M to open our map. From there, we can check our renown. Some other really useful ones are, for example, if we open up our skill tree and we click this expand button, it'll expand into the full screen, makes this a lot easier to kind of map around. Our next really important tip is we're going to want to play the game on World Tier 1 when we first start. So it's going to give you the option to either play on World Tier 1 or World Tier 2. Some of you might be tempted to go for World Tier 2 since it does give us more experience, but really that experience is going to be negligible when we consider how fast we can kill monsters in Tier 1. It's just going to be a better option. And if you did actually select World Tier 2, it's not the end of the world. What we can do, we can go over to the statue in our starting town, click on it, and we can go right back to World Tier 1 if we want. Tip number 3, if it's your first character, which it probably is, we're going to want to focus on the campaign for a few different reasons. Number 1, the campaign is going to give us a lot of experience. And number 2, we have to go through the campaign to get access to our horse, and that is going to be a really big part of our next few tips. And that brings us right into tip number 4. Get your horse as soon as you get to Act 4. Really, you're going to want to speed your way all the way through the campaign to get to Act 4 so that you can unlock your horse. This is going to be a game changer for you. It's going to let us ride around the map much quicker, and we're just going to be having an easier time of things. Now, another tip here, using the horse or the horse controls. So when I was first playing the game, I didn't really understand why sometimes my horse would be moving a lot faster, sometimes it would be moving slower, sometimes it was just really difficult to control. Now, if we ride out here, we can get a good example. So, for example, right here, if I'm pressing the gallop key, but for some reason I'm not going much faster or much slower, that's because however far away you're holding the mouse from your horse, that's the speed you're going to be going. So watch here, we go closer and we have a lot more controls, we're a little bit slower, and we go out here and we're a lot faster. Just a good thing to keep in mind when you're going around the world and you have some of these tight corners you might want to go a little bit slower through. Now for our next tip, what we're going to want to do is once we have our horse, we're going to want to raise our renown level in all the areas that we can up to level 3. If we take a look here, we see that we get some really good bonuses. We're going to be getting at least 2 skill points per area and an extra potion. This is going to be huge for us later on. And these bottom bonuses here are going to carry out through all the characters that you make. And I believe they're also going to carry into the seasons. And that brings us into tip number 7. Do a little bit of research on your class and spec that you want to play beforehand. Map out what dungeons you can get the maybe top 3 or 4 aspects from. Again, we can get our aspects one of 2 ways. The first way is through drops, of course, and the second way is through dungeons. So what we can do is once we start getting this yellow gear, we can go over here, put it in here, and we can either choose from the Codex of Power, which gives us a list of all of the aspects we've already collected, or we can go over here and get our aspects that we've extracted from legendary gear. Now, why would I say top 3 or 4? The reason we say this is because we don't really want to put our aspects on things like our weapons. Our weapons are the things we're probably going to be changing the most. So put them on things like rings, amulets, and gloves. These are going to be the things you change the least, so you're not going to be spending so much time and money and resources putting different aspects on things as you're leveling. And that brings us into tip number 9. I'd recommend upgrading your gear, any gear that you're wearing, to at least level 2. It really costs almost nothing to do it. I mean, if we look here, we can upgrade our amulet, and yeah, see 1,600 gold. The iron chunks, yeah, really nothing, and it's totally worth it. I'll even go, because this is a decent item, I'll upgrade it level 3. And that's going to bring us to tip number 10. When it comes to gear that you're not using, you want to be salvaging your gear up to about level 40. You're going to be doing this for 2 reasons. 1, it's not going to be worth as much to sell it. And 2, you really want to start collecting your resources. I've gotten some really good advice from some other videos saying, I mean, the measure of wealth in this game is not through gold, but through your resources. And we're going to gather a lot of that because we're going to be using it a ton once we hit level 50. And that's going to bring us to our final tip of the day. Play the game in a way that's fun for you. What I've brought you today is tips to optimize, but honestly, if these aren't fun for you, then just play the game the way you want to play it. That's the only real right way to play a game. I wouldn't worry about playing whatever the most broken spec is of the day or whatever the most broken class is of the day. Especially right now. I mean, if you're paying attention, you'll see that Blizzard is basically putting out patches every other day that completely changes the landscape of the game. So, for right now, just have fun with it. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If there's any tips that I forgot or you think should be in here, let me know in the comments down below, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good one.